humans, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Amy, and guess what? I found a foundation at the back of my drawer that I haven't done a review video of, and it's a Friday, that's why we're here. So today I am going to be doing a review video for you of the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour full coverage foundation. I have mine in the shade 05 light beige. I have lost the lid and the packaging is ridiculously janky at the moment, so we're doing really well. I had the original version of this foundation, like the original formulation, and loved it. I don't think the shades from the old version to the new formulation are entirely comparable. I feel like this is slightly lighter, I think, than the previous light beige shades that they had in the original formulation, but it does mean I think that there are more shades in the range in general, which I think is pretty good. So it's been quite a while since I've tried this foundation, so we'll dive straight into it, and I'll be priming my face today as I have in all of my previous foundation reviews with the L'Oreal Infallible Mattifying Primer. I actually feel like I'm like halfway through this already. Doesn't sound like there's a lot left in there at all, but I do really like this primer because it's still mattifying, but it's very thin and very liquidy. So it sits really well, not just on top of my skincare, which I do use a lot of like skincare products, and I don't want to have too many layers on my face, but it's like, and it sits really well under makeup as well, I find anyway. So I'm going to let that set. So it's a super full coverage foundation with a lightweight feel that lasts from day to night, perfect for a flawless base to any makeup look. Super full coverage pigments, super lightweight feel, super staying power. They're really like banging this super kind of thing on you. Our perfect foundation for a super powered transformation that lasts up to 24 hours. We love a 24-hour claim around here because very rarely do they actually stand up to scrutiny. Transfer resistant, sweat resistant, water resistant. Again, very interesting claims in today's kind of mask wearing world. It'd be interesting to see, because I do have to wear a mask later on today, it'd be interesting to see whether it transfers onto the inside. Non-comedogenic, suitable for normal to oily skin types, and there are 18 shades in this. So not the worst, but definitely not the best by any means, but decent for a drugstore foundation. So now that that has set into my skin, I am going to be applying one side of my face with a sponge and one side of my face with a brush, so we can see how it applies with both. I'm going to be doing the sponge side first, because as I found with foundations, it's really hard to gauge how glossy a foundation is when I was doing the brush side first, because the sponge adds a bit more hydration, doesn't give it enough time to set down. It is quite thick. Oh no, it's actually running down my hand quite a lot. So it's a medium viscosity liquid, so it should be an easier one to blend, and I have no idea what kind of... It's been a while since I've used this, so I don't know how full coverage this is. And I don't know what this shade is like, because I don't actually have any tan on at all at the moment. So this should be, in theory, a decent shade for me. So one can assume, although normally I'm wrong when I do, that if there are 18 shades, that light beige must be shade number 5 in the range. So you're about a third of the way down the shades, which is interesting because from what I remember when I purchased this foundation, this was the lightest shade with a yellow undertone, and it's something that I have kind of noticed with drugstore foundations quite a lot over the years. As somebody that does have yellow toned skin, like I have a warm skin tone, if you're buying in the drugstore and you have any sort of olive beigey complexion at all, if you've got any sort of warmth in your skin, you're going to struggle if you're pale, because so many drugstore foundations lean really pink generally, especially their pale shades, which is really not fabulous. And I found at a young age, like a really young age, other than Bourjois, which obviously they've removed themselves from at least the UK market that I'm aware of, other than them, where pretty much all of their foundations were kind of warm toned, they were yellow, I would not be able really to find a decent colour match in the drugstore, because either it was yellow and too dark, or it was the right paleness, but it was pink. So I just have floating head syndrome regardless of how I went around it. Which is what led me on to MAC actually, and buying the Studio Fix Fluid, and that becoming my favourite foundation, frankly. Because it was the first foundation that I had that actually matched my skin tone. So I don't think the shade range was particularly brilliant now that I think about it. So I'm on the Maybelline website. They've got quite a lot of like paler to medium shades, and there's not really a lot of like properly pale ones, and there's not really a lot of dark ones. I can see 4 dark out of 18 shades, and I can see 3 that I would class as legitimately pale. So you've got 11 shades suiting medium skin tones, and then 7 to do everybody else, which isn't brilliant. It's not bad, but it isn't brilliant. Definitely better than Tarte, that came out with literally no dark shades at all. I'm just going to apply a little bit extra across my nose because it hasn't, with just one layer, sat brilliantly across my pores. So that's 2 pumps used on this side of my face. I feel it's not full coverage. It's definitely not like I am bouncing this into this mark across here and it's just not covering it. But it's like a good medium plus. It's like pretty dang high coverage. Like you can obviously tell a marked difference across the 2 sides of my face there. My skin looks quite smooth now that I've added that second layer on the top of my nose. It has sat quite well around my nose, like the crevice where normally I get some sort of dryness. It's normally the giveaway that I'm wearing foundation on this part there. It's blended really well. It took me maybe about a minute to cover this side of my face. I feel like it's set already. I feel like it's not throwing a lot of light, and that's with a sponge, so it should be interesting to see how it applies with a brush. So I'm just using my Real Techniques brush as per usual. I really need to wash this. Because normally in terms of foundation application I'll go with a brush and then like to apply the foundation, and then I'll go in with a sponge to blend my concealer and foundation together, generally speaking. But I can't do that today. I'm not sure, I don't think it's oxidized at all. I just feel like this side is set down more than the other side. So that's me kind of put another layer, like a decent layer on this side. It looks non-identical on both sides of my face. I don't think it applied better with, frankly, either technique. I would say this brush side was faster to apply, and I used probably about 1.5 pumps of products, whereas I used 2 pumps on this side of my face. So it's entirely up to you what tools you prefer to use. I think you get the same kind of finished look from both application methods, but I am going to go apply the rest of my makeup now, and I will catch up with you guys in a bit. BRB, and I'm back. So this is kind of what we're looking like at the moment. I think all of my products applied really well over the top of this foundation. I didn't have any sort of patchiness or any issues blending, like my blusher, concealer. I think the powder that I have on is very, very matte, but the foundation itself was still quite matte before like I'd even put any powder on it. So I mean, it's definitely one for, I would say, all these skin types. I don't think it's going to sit particularly well on a drier skin type. It's quite thick, it is quite heavy in terms of like the texture of it, but I like how it's looking on my face at the moment. So I've got some errands to run today, and I've got another video to film this afternoon. So hopefully this foundation is going to last quite a long time. I actually stopped for lunch in the middle, so I'd actually just finished putting the foundation on just before 12 o'clock, and it's currently 1:30. You can't see, but it's 1:30. So I'm gonna wear this foundation for the rest of the day, and I'll check back in with you guys in a bit. Hey guys, it's about 5 o'clock now, so I've been wearing this for about 5 hours, and we're not doing too bad. I'm looking quite shiny across my chin. It is looking quite heavy. I think I have some new breakouts coming through, which is always delightful. Yay. It doesn't seem to have come off under my mask. It just looks like I'm wearing a lot of makeup at the moment, which isn't ideal, but you know, we'll carry on. But yeah, I'll keep wearing this for the rest of the night, and I'll check back in with you guys in a bit. Hey guys, so it is like 10 o'clock now, and I've had this foundation on for about 10 hours. It's not looking brilliant. It's gonna split across my chin. It's got a bit dodgy around my nose. I am not as shiny as I have been with some other foundations, but it's still not looking brilliant. Yeah, that chin area really doesn't look particularly fabulous. Obviously the mask that I wore earlier played some part in it, but I mean, it looks okay. But in terms of the price, for kind of that same kind of price in the drugstore, I much prefer the L'Oreal matte foundation versus this one. Just feels a bit lighter on the skin. I needed to use less product to get the same level of coverage, lasted a bit better, kind of suited my skin a bit better. So overall that would be my pick instead of this, although it doesn't look bad, like I will continue to use it. Yeah, that has been my foundation first impressions. I say first impressions, foundation review video of the Maybelline Superstay foundation. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads, and give this video a big thumbs up so more people can find it. And other than that, I'll see you next time, guys. Bye.